Now, welcome everybody. This is me on my way to Hamilton Brushes, but I won't say that I'm on my way. I am stuck in an accident on the M42. My Google Maps is telling me that there's about an hour and 15 minutes hold up. Engines are off, doors are open. I've been in the road talking to the lorry driver next to me, and yeah, let's just put it this way. I'm glad that I'm not a commuter. I'm glad that I work within about a 20-minute radius of where I live at home, because no way would I want to be a rep or somebody that does motorway driving. So I will catch you later and we'll get a bit more of an update and we'll get into the video about Hamilton Brushes.
Well, here we are at it says Harris above the building. It's actually Hamilton's headquarters over in Bromsgrove, which is just south of Birmingham. Now, you heard me a few minutes ago, I was stuck in traffic. It gave me an hour and a half, hold up. I've managed to get here, well, I'll probably say 40 minutes after I actually thought that I would be getting here, but not done too bad. I'm going to go inside, I'm going to see the people that have invited me. What I can film, I will film. What I can't film, I will just do the best. Hopefully I've got an interview with somebody this afternoon. I've got a few questions to ask. I'd like to actually video that. Hopefully I can do. I know I'm not allowed to do any filming in the production area, and I'm not allowed to do any filming in the area where they do specific testing of bristles, brushes and rollers and things like that. So I'll go in, I'll see what the crack's about. As and when I can film anything, I will do. And then I'll see you at the end. Well, welcome everybody. I'm actually inside Hamilton Brushes now. It's all a bit of a closed shop. You've got to be really careful where you're filming, and there's only certain areas that I can actually film. Now, I'm in the media room, and if I'm really careful, I'll be able to pan around and show you what's in here. I've got to be careful with faces, but if I stand back a little bit further, this is the new, I'll say, marketing that Hamilton have got. The brushes for the trade, the prestige and the perfection. Now these are what Hamilton have been, I'll say, in production for the last few years to try and get a rebrand, and this is what they've come out with. So you will see these sorts of displays in many, I'm trying not to get anybody, in many outlets, whether that be your builders merchants or your decorating centres. So this is what you will be seeing, and if I can swivel the camera around, I'll just give you a little bit of an insight to the brushes that they're trying to promote. So self-explanatory. Trade is the trade range of tools and brushes and rollers, and we don't call it the entry level because it is not the entry level. It is the brush that you can just go in, pick up. Oh, we've got to go into the lab in a minute. They're the brushes that I've used. We've bought these from Toolstation. These are really nice brushes, but they've also got complementary rollers and bits and pieces as well. We now move on to the next section, which is your, I'll call it the middle of the range. Now, personally, I love this style of handle, but this is the middle of the range. And they're all colour coded. So you've got like your orange, you've got your green, then you've got your blue. Now, if we go over to the Perfection, people probably know Perfection with Hamilton. Now, these are proper professional quality tools and brushes. And these, if you can see this is a proper, they call them a knot hanging brush, and that'll be a 9 ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, the idea of those over the years, the original concept was that if, I'll show you, if one of the rings stroke knots wore, you could actually swap them out. Whether that still happens now, I'm not sure. But if I pan back, you can actually see the range of Perfection, which is, this is the top end of your painting and decorator standard of brush. This is the top quality brushes, bristles. You've got the new, you can see You've got the new Max Stroke, which the two ranges of brushes there, you've got the soft and the firm. So you've got your firm there. These are geared up for water-based. They're all water-based and oil-based paint brushes, but clearly, if you've got a thicker paint, the viscosity of the paint being thicker, you'd use a firm one. If you've got softer, thinner viscosity paints, water-based, you've got the soft bristle, which are a little bit longer on the tips. And again, somebody tell me what this is called. The Hammy Green. Now, I've actually been into the production area of that and seen these coming off the production areas, which clearly I'm not allowed to film, but I can tell you that I've seen these actually being produced and made. Duster brush, I know a lot of people don't use duster brushes anymore. They'll just use a cheap paintbrush, but these are proper top quality. Again, you ring, call them a knot, 3-knot ring duster brushes. There you go. You see that? And this is what we've got. If anybody can read these, please pause and read what it says.
You could end up with
Just coming in to show you another tool. If anybody wants to know about wallpaper stripping, these are the things that get virtually everything off. Blown vinyls, wood chips, anaglyptus that have got multiple layers of paint on. They're an ideal stripping knife to remove the top layers of your wallpapers before you start soaking it in with hot soapy water. Well, there we are. We've got roller sleeves, roller frames. And those that are in the know, do you know what that is? It's a laying off brush, 4-inch laying off brush. So that's it for now. As I say, I can't film anybody, but I can show you what the display stands are going to be looking like as they get rolled out at all your builders, decorators, merchants that deal with Hamilton. So there we go.
You know, we all know it's got its limitations. So I've got some solvent-based gloss paint. I'll try not to put it back to you, that's all. So, as we know, it picks up an awful lot of paint. I'll just take it straight from the packet, so it's fair across the range. We know it picks up an awful lot of paint, and that's what I like to demonstrate. And then obviously when it first applies the paint onto the door, you'll have quite a lot of paint to distribute. Get it loaded up first. Didn't want to preload it because then it's not really fair on every brush. So if I was going to paint this door, I'll paint the recesses first, as most likely you would. So starts putting it on the surface. It's got quite a heavy composite of paint, and then you've got to keep brushing that paint out there to distribute the paint. It picks up a lot of paint, so you will get really good coverage, as you know. But you've got to do an awful lot of strokes to pull that paint through. You do get a lot of splaying on the bristle, but that's about where I'd probably stop there and reload to do the next dip. So I'd have to do the next dip to finish off the recess and start for this demonstration. I'd probably, if I was doing it myself, do all the recesses, but I'll start on the panel. So again, start on the panel. You can see it's quite a heavy deposit of paint. And then, without trying to get paint everywhere, a lot of strokes, but I find you're still getting quite a heavy finish. There's only so much resistance you can get in the bristle to pull the paint through. So I can keep pulling the paint through, and if you can see, I feel it's still quite a heavy layer. So when that dries, you can tell it's quite a heavy layer of paint. Again, you pull it through, but there's only so much. And again, I'm virtually exhausted of paint now, so I'd have to reload. So that's 2 dips, that's sort of the area that I'm getting in the paint finish. No bristle loss, but can experience some bristle coming out, because you can't stop that, can you, on the natural bristle brush, so you know you're going to get that occasionally. Then the brush that you've probably heard about, I haven't been privy to what you've been listening to for the last couple of hours, but you've probably heard a lot about the cleanage. This bristle, this synthetic replicates the performance of the natural bristle. So you'll see it now. But what you'll see, it's quite a firmer filament. It's got a lot more body in there to pull the paint through each stroke. It doesn't pick up as much paint on the initial deposit when you first apply the paint. But what you'll see, it's so much easier to pull the brush down. The same, because it's got more resistance there. I'm not just going to keep brushing and brushing over the same area. It's actually pulling the paint where I want to pull the paint through and thins the application down. So when it obviously dries, it's not going to have that heavy texture of gloss finish.
Heavy texture with curtains. Curtains and runs.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As long as it's filling in. Yeah.
That's it. So easily pulls with one dip. Probably be exhausted about now, so it's finished the recess, nice and easy, no drips, no spills, and you can go over that 3 or 4 times. And if you was to see in the light, where the light reflects on the finish, when you have a look in a second, you'll be able to see you can get a flatter finish. So that's the first dip. And of course, it only gets better when the brush is worked in, which is only the second dip. So nice and easy. Again, with the solvent, with the bristle brush, because it's only got so much force pulling power through, you'll see here when you have a look, a bit of pooling around, because it can't manipulate the paint exactly where you want it to go all the time. But you'll see on the clean edge, because it's pulling the paint all the way you want it to go, it reduces any risk of pooling or drips. So, look at the second. So after this second dip, we'll go over all of this, and you can feel the weight of the filaments. If you have a go in a second, you'll feel for yourself.
Yeah, feel free to have a go, because I think
Yeah.
it's really about the feel to
The
this
feel.
brush.
And then if you have a look at the finish, that's done really quick, and you can see that is so much lighter than this, if you can see it in the light. We're going to have a quick look.
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah, give me one. Give me one there. So you can see the same coverage. If you see here, with the same this was just doing a demo, it wasn't like, you can see, there was no pulling, you can pull that through, the weight of it, you can pull that through. There's no lines, no scuff marks, and that's a high-sheen gloss, and it's going to show any imperfections. And you can go over it quite firm, and there's no brush lines created. For that, it's just flawless finish with a brush, and that's one of the beauties of 10 Downing Street doors. You get it's hard to create the scuff marks or brush lines in the finish. Cinnamon one brush, it doesn't flick it. It hasn't got a long length filament, so it flicks anywhere. You can see the speed when it's, and this is quite a lucid gloss paint, and it holds it in.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it is a lot easier to control than the old-fashioned conker, and it is quicker. That's not a Bristol, that's a brush mark. It just feels weird using oil-based paint again.
Yes.
I've not used oil-based paint for years.
I feel a bit overcooked with fumes, actually.
Yeah. But you can use it with different paints.
Right, my time to shine, painting the door, and all the experience I've got with Doris the door, this should be a breeze. But I was a little bit like Mike. I've not used oil-based paint for a long time, and I did mention that. So I did ask if it was possible to use some water-based paint, which they managed to get out for me. And that's a hybrid water-based. I believe it was a Crown Fast Flow. Now you'll see a little bit further on, it was a blue door. It was a blue paint that's painted on the door. Now these brushes, where they say it holds the paint well, I was actually surprised how well it did hold the paint. Where it did come into its own was when I tried a competitor's brush and noticed how scratchy the finish was applying particularly the water-based paint. Now, if you actually saw it yourself, you'd probably think it was the paint that was at fault. But having tried two brushes next to each other with the same paint, I can tell you that it was definitely not the paint, it was the brush that was giving the finish, i.e. good or bad. Now the competitor brush I can't mention for legal reasons, but it would surprise you to find out which one it was, but it did leave the surface very scratchy. Now the Hamilton brushes, whether it be with the oil-based paint or the hybrid water-based paint, didn't give that effect. It laid off beautifully, we'll say beautifully. We're just going to come in to see the blue door in a second, but you'll have to take my word on that one. There was a big difference between the two different brushes. Now this little section of clips, I've just edited out any volume or background chatter. Let's make it really exciting. Just say for legal reasons, because we might have been talking about things that we shouldn't be talking about. But far from it, we weren't really as bad as that. But what Nick's doing here is just showing us various rollers, whether it be their own brand or other people's rollers, showing that if you, well, clearly you can see it there, brush across it, whether any fluff lint comes off these rollers. Now, we did explain that if you need to get that off, you can either wash them out or actually wrap them in masking tape and take it off that way. But the purpose of the demo here was to say that the quality of the roller can affect how much lint comes off the actual roller sleeve. Now, clearly, if you've washed it out, you're going to lose that. Now, what Nick's shown us here is one of the rollers from the Trade range. Here we go. Oh, how timely is that? Hamilton for the Trade. Now, they do the same roller in three different styles. There's a low pile, there's a medium pile, and a long pile. Now, these are for anybody to use. We're not calling it entry level because it's not entry level. This is a general purpose, good for anybody who's in the painting and decorating trade, and it's a good all-round roller. But what we're going to see Nick do is actually apply how the application was, what we'll call it orange peel, what the actual texture was of the roller when it had applied the paint to that surface. And what we're going to come on to in a second is you can probably see it's a slight change in roller. This is one of the hammy greens. Now the hammy green roller is their, well, let's say one of their best rollers that they've got, and it's probably one of the best rollers for decorators to use. You can see there how it applies the paint, how it holds the paint, and when we come on to the next section, you will see what the difference in the finish that you get from these rollers. So please enjoy.
Finish I'm getting there, that I could get that all over.
Yeah.
That's the finish with the top.
And if you've got,
perfection, and then that's your finish with your for the trade.
yeah,
So you can clearly see good
it's
finish,
the orange peel.
and that's your prestige. So you can clearly see the three different finishes.
Yeah.
Of your trade.
No, he's a new age painter. The new age painters don't use and wear overalls, do they?
You know I'd lose because there's no tape involved. Never seen anybody cut in like that. When you're down south, that's what
What do you think, Gary?
yeah, perfect, yeah.
Makes sense.
But I normally, honestly, I do tape a lot, so I don't, ceiling edge, I'm brilliant. That'd be taped up if that was an architrave.
Right, everybody, we're in the Q&A session at the Hamilton factory. I've got two lovely ladies here. Am I allowed to say lovely ladies?
Absolutely.
Are you all right with that?
Yeah.
Two lovely ladies here that are going to answer the questions that I've already pre-warned them about. They're just 4 questions. We're not going to be here for an hour, but they're probably the questions that I've probably thought about over the last few weeks, knowing that I was coming here, that you might be, as people who follow the channel, painters and decorators, DIYers, people that are probably getting into the trade, might want to know the answers to. Without further ado, Pew, Barnaby, Grew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub, I'll swivel the camera around. The girl, I'll call you the girls now, sorry. God, do you know what? My wife had cringed. I said I'm not corporate, she'd say you'd be sacked. The ladies are here and they'll answer the questions and we'll try and get some answers out of them. Well, we'll try and keep it politically correct as well with what I might come out with. So let's swivel round. You'll hear my voice, but I won't be on camera. Everybody gets sick of seeing me, but we've got some nice... Right, so, right, here we are. Introduce yourself, Hannah. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
right.
you've done it for me.
Yeah.
I'm Hannah. I'm the Senior Product Manager here at Hamilton.
And I'm Philippa, I'm the UK Marketing Director.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much there, ladies. Right, my first question. Right, it's you already know what we're going to be answering on this one. It's who tests the newly developed brush and rollers and actually goes out on the jobs to try it for a period of time. What period of time is it actually tested over before it goes to mass market, before you feel it's comfortable to actually go out to the main DIYer or the trade?
So we test, as you'll have seen today, we have a test facility here in the UK, our lab, and we also have the same in Sweden. This is more kind of the science behind the product, where we're testing like paint pickup, paint finish, paint release. But what's really, really important for us is to test with end users. So we will send products out right from prototype stage right through to the end product or finished product with professional decorators, get them to test it, really put the product through its paces basically in a real life setting. We've been known during the development of our brushes to send professional painters over to Sweden during the development phases to make sure we really get the product right. And that is why product development does takes time. You want to get it right first
I must have missed that letter to go abroad to test stuff. I mean, is it Sweden? Whereabouts is the main company? Sweden?
It's in a place called Yon Shopping, which is about an hour and a half.
Do they speak English?
Yeah.
Just, we'll be all right with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really important to test kind of in both instances. We also test with paint manufacturers as well. So we'll send our product to paint manufacturers along in the product development process to kind of get their feedback, take that on board, and that's what leads to the finished product.
Yeah, good.
In terms of the timings, it depends on what the product is, what the brush or roller is, as to what we expect the longevity to be, what is the job that they're doing, and actually getting it part of the decorator's day-to-day life. So if what their expectations are, how many times they wash it out, is it every day, is it every couple of weeks, do they, all of that sort of stuff. So it's really putting it through their paces in the real world.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get great results, sometimes we don't, and sometimes we can get a result within a couple of days. So if something's failed, they'll let us know really quickly. And all of that is really useful learning for us, but it is all about the end user.
Great, thank you very much. Right. Second question. All right. With so many new brands of brushes that are coming to the UK over the last few years, how do Hamilton keep on to current brush style trends to keep ahead of the game? Think on the lines of the marketing that the Paint Warrior, Arrowworthy, and other brush companies like that get on social media. How are you going to attack that market to get new customers?
Yeah. So it's tempting for us to jump on trends straight away, but as Hamilton as a brand, we're about longevity, about working with end users and making sure the product is right for the end user. An example that I'll draw on is the stainless steel ferrule. The same ferrule's been used for I don't know how many years. Stainless steel ferrule with the ridges. More recently, you're seeing brushes with seamless ferrule.
Yeah.
And they're slightly heavier. They don't have the ridges, the grip. They don't stop the paint running down. And even the question we have to ask ourselves is, if it's not adding an additional benefit to the end user, why would we invest in it? So I think that's really important.
If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I know some of the other brushes from Germany have got a plasticky rubber ferrule now that apparently is all the rage over in Germany. But I've tried them, and I think you get used to what you're used to, and you don't really want to change.
It's something that I think is really important to Hamilton, that we're not into gimmicks.
Yeah.
The key things for us are our end users, and obviously the really important to us is the paint that's on the market at the moment.
Yeah.
And therefore we will continue to test all our products on all the new paints that are out in the market and that are coming out into the market. If we feel our products work, then happy days.
Yeah.
If they don't, or we feel that there's improvements to be made, then we can do that as well.
Yeah.
But it's all about this mythical feel that professional decorators have. The day that somebody can work out to give the true definition of what that means, that will be the best day of my life. Because we're constantly trying to understand what that feel is.
Just asking, let's call it section 2A. Do you get different feedback from male and female people who are testing brushes when we talk about the feel of brushes and rollers? Is a bit of a chalk and cheese answer that you get from male to female response?
I'm not sure it's as black and white as male and female. I think it can be, how many professional decorators have we got in this room? We could get a different response from each of you guys.
It doesn't make any difference.
It's so individual, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's the real. It's actually quite a challenge.
Yeah.
Because it's always very nerve-wracking when we bring something new, because you guys have just been in testing products and you might not like it, not because it doesn't work fundamentally, but it just doesn't feel right. And that's your personal subjective opinion, and that's fine. That's
but you've got to do a repeat of what you've been testing. You can't just go straight in. Use it over a period of time. You get used to it and go, actually, it is better than the first originally thought. And that's why you do a test period, don't you, of 6 months, and say, don't just jump in with both feet and say, no, I don't like it. Give it a go, try it, and then come back to us and say.
And you know what we also know is that traditionally, this industry has not been massively fast moving.
No.
And you know, at the end of the day, this is people's livelihoods, etc.
Yeah.
And you know, if you find something that you like, it's going to take quite a lot to make you move to something else, because it's your reputation at the end of the day. Which is why we like to involve as many people as we can in the whole process, so that we can try and sort of knock off some of those.
There is an element of decorators being in a bit of a rut with what they're used to, what they know, what they've been brought up with, and even down to people don't want to move away from oil-based paints, and no, because they might have tried a water-based paint 20 years ago, not liked it, but not realising that the whole industry has moved on considerably, and with Europe and the world is such a small place, we are seeing paints from other countries now coming in that does knock spots off the manufacturers that we've got over here, that does make a Pacific brush work better with. It's hand in glove. I call it hand in glove. Right, I'll move on because time is ticking and we want to go home, don't we? Probably not. I'm quite happy here. Right, number 3, Hamilton have been around for 170 years, being the pioneers of brush technology. What do you see the next 5 to 10 years bringing? We spoke about this. What would you see the next 50 to 100, which is an open-ended question. But I'm asking the question on that is, have we reached the pinnacle of where the brush and rollers can go, or is there more to come with the technology, but it's not there yet?
I think realistically, paint will continue to evolve, and therefore our products will. Trends will continue to evolve, and therefore things will change within that. In terms of technology, we're obviously not going to give you all our secrets. But there's a lot of stuff that we're working on, which is more sort of short to medium term, which we will of course talk to you about when the time is right. But I think for the longer term, who knows, is the boring answer you don't want to hear. But I would equate it to other industries and say, you know, look how we listen to music. You know, in the last 50 years, how that has changed from vinyl through to CDs, mini discs, streaming, etc., etc. So there's technology there. We're just not one of the most technological, advanced industries, but there's no reason why we can't be.
I think really, like you say about music's still the same. It's just altered how the music's been delivered. And the same goes with brushes and paint. And as a decorator, a full-time decorator and a part-time influencer, say it dead quickly, you've got to move with the trends and keep up with it. And as we said earlier, which I couldn't film because it was all secret, but you can't sit on your laurels. You can't live off your heritage and what the past's been. You've got to move with it, and you've got to embrace the new technology that's coming through.
Absolutely.
I don't want to answer the question for you, but I see that's where you need to be as a manufacturer of something that I'm going to be using.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're all right with that one? Right, last one. These questions were in no particular order, so we might just touch on a few things that we've already spoke about. I am reading it, so forgive me, I didn't put my glasses on. With so many brushes on the market that have moved the painting game on these last few years, do Hamilton follow trends, which we've just touched on, to what the decorator wants? Me personally, the oval slash cut brushes of Monarch and Arrowworthy with the soft bristle that have been the game changer for me when it comes to water-based paints. Sharp cutting in and the filaments and the easy washing out of these brushes on the bristle are a game changer. Are you seeing an increase in people asking for a similar sort of brush in your own line of brushes, or are you prepared just to stick with the same flat traditional style of brush, which you do have? And having seen what your manufacturing is and in your demo rooms, you have got other brushes. So do you want to just elaborate on that for me? That I don't want to sound like a Nathaniel, a caveman.
So we have got a whole host of different brushes. We have got, the angle cut brushes. We've got angled sash brushes, you name it, we've probably got a variant of it within our ranges. And that's what's really important to us, because it is all about personal preference. Everybody has things, products that they prefer versus, what somebody else might prefer. And we want to try and cater to as many needs as we can, but make sure the product quality is still top notch.
That's good. Can I just ask you to just mention, because I've not probably put it across very well, you've rebranded yourselves. You're trying to get more to the forefront of, well, the decorator, the DIYer, the contractor, the multi-skilled painter and decorator, and anything in between. But you have got 3 ranges of brushes from the trade, the prestige, and the perfection that are aiming for each corner of the market.
I think just to go back to what you just said, what we aren't doing is aiming it at the DIY market.
No.
So the DIY market is not our focus. However,
Can you say that again, please, Philippa?
The DIY market is not our focus for Hamilton.
Good, thank you.
However, we are aware that the way that distribution and retail has changed, some of them are not. It's not as black and white as it used to be, where professionals and tradies go to certain stores and DIYs go to others. There is now a bit of a mix there.
And I think with online shopping and things like that,
it's even more so.
You're not exclusive to the traditional paint, no.
So therefore, we are aware that some DIYs will buy Hamilton products, and that's fine as well. But all of our development, our communication, etc., is very, very much focused in on the professional decorator and trade end users. And that's what I think we've done with the 3 ranges that we've got behind me. All equally good levels of quality. And as Hannah has said already this afternoon, it's all about what that end user is looking for. Speed, quality, price, longevity, etc. Because everybody's different. And not just in their personal preferences on painting, but some tradie who will spend most of his time focusing on maybe building something, the end of the job is painting, whereas the stuff right behind me here is very much focused at the professional decorator whose life is a paintbrush and a roller.
That's lovely. Good. And I will just touch in, because we're here today, we have got the actual tools of the trade, shall we say. We've not actually been speaking about those, but as a painter and decorator, professional painter and decorator, Hamilton, when you say about what tools do you think of for manufacturing, Hamilton are the people that would be providing you with the proper stainless steel filling knives with a proper hardwood handle. Yeah, and they're all pinned in place. These are your top, how can we say it? Top tools? Top level tools. Yeah, these aren't entry level. These are the ones that you want to actually have.
The famous Tammy Green.
Yeah, we can't get away from not mentioning that. But that's great. Thank you very much. And I'll turn the camera off and say thank you very much, ladies. That was very interesting.
Thank you.
Right, we're just looking at a hog now. I should hope most of you know where pure bristle comes from, and it's hog hair, horse hair, and everything in between. So Hamilton have now ceased making pure bristle brushes, and one of the reasons was this hog that you're seeing here, not this particular one, but the quality of bristle has declined over the last few years. Also, the cost for production from these animals has also gone up, and a big thing that was interesting to hear at the beginning of the talk that we had, it was saying that climate change has made a big impact on the pure bristle industry. Now you say, what does climate change do with paintbrushes? Well, the hog is where the bristles come from, and a byproduct of the meat industry is using the bristle from the hog in other industries. Clearly, paintbrush manufacture. Now, because climate change has altered so much for these hogs, the weather, climate has altered the way that the hog's hair has been growing. So it's probably not been as long, it's not been as thick, and that has really been the decline of the pure bristle brush
for Hamilton. Now, I'm not saying you can't get pure Bristle elsewhere, but you probably find that pure Bristle brushes are quite expensive. Now, what you're looking at here is some memorabilia that Hamilton have got on the side, just showing us what they've produced over the years. You'll probably see a few famous names in the brush and painting and decorating industry on these boards. You'll see the words of Harris, which are still going under the Hamilton brand. Now, Harris are more the DIY market, whereas I've tried to make it clear that Hamilton is aiming for the professional painter and decorator, the paid professional painter and decorator. But also there'll be names that you'll see on here. One of them being is Acorn, which is another company that is underneath the brolly of Hamilton. Clearly, we've been told about the parent company that Hamilton have got, but Hamilton is still running as a manufacturer of brushes and rollers and tools for the painting and decorating industry. There you go. We've just mentioned Acorn. There's Acorn. Now, if you remember Acorn, they would probably be about 15, 20 years ago since I've last seen anything like that. But no, it was interesting to see these catalogues, price lists, and some of the old tools. I mean, we look at 2001, doesn't seem long ago, but actually it's quite a long while ago. Now that's a stippler. I've got those in my Acorn. There again, Acorn. Going back to the stippler, if you look in your top right corner, you will see my video on my decorative paint toolbox, which will probably be very interesting if you're into anything like that, with badger softeners and all the different brushes for creating decorative effects.
Well, we're back here again. It's the end of the day. Now, I've been here since, did I tell you I got held up in traffic? Yeah. Now, I've been here for the last 6 hours. Very interesting. I probably told you earlier on that there's certain areas I couldn't film. There's certain areas that I was allowed to film, and hopefully this video has given you an insight on what Hamilton actually do here over south side of Birmingham, Bromsgrove. Now, you've probably heard numerous times, this is a business that's 270 years old, and clearly now you've heard the girls talking to me about where Hamilton are in the market, the products that they've got, where they are situated, i.e. who they're going out to. They're going out to main decorating centres. They've got actual builders merchants that they're actually going into now. You know that they're at the forefront of obviously promotion of their products, and well, let's say if they're here for another 100, 150, another 270 years, that's brilliant. But I've had a really nice day. It's been a bit of a busman's holiday for me. I'm going to say a shout out to the people that invited me over at Hamilton. Probably a little bit off the back of me I'll do my left shoulder there. I did an interview with Sarah at the Jewson's live show earlier this year, which was really interesting to, well, see the brushes that they've got then. Now, off that, they've actually invited me down to their head office to see the production of, well, I couldn't show you the production of any brushes because it's not actually done here, but they do the production of the rollers. And I have got a roller that I saw come off the production line. It went onto the machine and it was bagged up, and I've actually got it. So I've got a, well, I'll say it's a proper roller for me that I'll never use because it is my roller. And I actually felt that roller still warm in the packet. It's just the little things, everybody. It's just the little things. But no, thank you very much to everybody at Hamilton for inviting me. Lunch was very nice as well. I mean, you know what, I like my food. Yeah, let's say no more. But this building here, I don't know, you can probably see by the style of it. I will swivel it round and we'll have a look at it. It's a proper Art Deco building. It says Harris above the door. You can just see that. Now, Harris are still produced, and they're more for the DIY market, whereas the Hamilton is for the trade decorator. But what a lovely building this is. There's an Art Deco building, and this is a purpose-built building for Hamilton. And when you go inside, you've got a lovely Art Deco staircase. So yeah, I'm going to say please watch the videos at the end. It's been a very interesting day. I've seen some people that I do know. You've seen Mike and Gary.
They're very active on some of the painting and decorating forums. And I feel quite honoured to have been invited. So I'm going to sign out and see you on the next one.